Well, hi there, Internet. My name's Court, and you've got courtside seats for my review of the brand new Netflix series, Space Force Season 1. Let's do it. Space Force is a comedy series from creators Steve Carell and Greg Daniels and Netflix. The show stars Steve Carell, John Malkovich, Diana Silvers, Jimmy O. Yang, Ben Schwartz, Tawney Newsome, Don Lake, Lisa Kudrow, and Fred Willard, following the people tasked with creating a sixth branch of the armed services, the Space Force. So as I mentioned off the top, this series was created by Greg Daniels and Steve Carell, the creators of the American adaptation of The Office. I wasn't a huge fan of that show, and when I say I wasn't a huge fan, I don't mean I wasn't a huge fan of that show. I just mean I wasn't a huge fan of that show. But I quite liked what I saw, that even though I didn't watch it religiously. But for Space Force, between the creators, an amazing cast, and a hilarious premise, I was really looking forward to this show. Then the trailer came, and I didn't think the trailer was all that funny. But I thought, I'll wait, I'll watch the show when it comes out. I have done that now, and I think it's okay. I certainly don't hate it, it definitely has its upside, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed. Overall, I thought the cast was quite good. I pretty much always like Steve Carell, and he doesn't disappoint here, even though I don't find his character as lovable or awkwardly clueless as, say, a Michael Scott. I really like John Malkovich in this. His comedy is so dry, and I like that they made his character gay without it coming across as self-congratulatory. Look at us, we have a gay character, aren't we progressive? No, they don't make a big thing about it. His character's just gay. They let it breathe, it feels totally organic, natural, and you can tell Malkovich is having a great time playing this dude. Plus, his friendship with Carell's character is genuinely lovely, and the two have really good chemistry together. I've seen Jimmy O. Yang in a couple things. The guy's never really stood out to me all that much. Here, he makes this character very much his own. He too has a very dry comic sensibility and wicked timing, and I got some really good laughs out of him. Diana Silvers plays Erin, who is Carell's character's daughter. I'm really mixed on this character. I think Silvers' performance of the character is perfectly solid, but I found Erin to just be a fundamentally ugly, unlikable character. And I get her perspective being a teenager upended from her life, but she's just kind of miserable and self-centered, and I couldn't really feel bad for her. I liked Ben Schwartz in this show as the delightfully named media man Tony Scarapaducci. He was funny, although admittedly I was hearing Sonic the entire time. And I really liked Tawney Newsome as Angela. I'm not super familiar with the actress, but I thought that character was kind of the heart of the show. And the show has a number of performers from the Christopher Guest Ensemble, special Christopher Guests, if you will, including Michael Hitchcock, Jane Lynch, Don Lake, and the late great Fred Willard. Of all of them, only Lake is a main player, the rest are kind of cameos. And honestly, I think he's probably the funniest character on the show. That dude was making me laugh every episode. Now, Fred Willard, whom I loved, and I was admittedly a little bit heartbroken when he passed. He doesn't have a whole lot of screen time. I think he only pops up in 3 or 4 episodes, but he's doing his Fred Willard thing, something I will always appreciate. And it was nice to see him one last time. Sadly, his character kind of just gets forgotten about around halfway through the show, and obviously he's not going to turn up in season 2. Which is a shame. That said, the pilot episode does end with the title card in loving memory of Fred Willard, and that got me a little choked up. This show could very easily have been a lefty hit piece against the right, and while it does mock some Republicans with fairly thinly veiled jabs at Trump and others, it takes shots at the left too. There's a character named Representative Potosi. Who could that be referencing? There's another one who is straight up Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and the actor playing that role did an amazing job of being a fictionalized AOC. She looked exactly like her, she sounded exactly like her, and the show made kind of everybody in the government look like idiots, which I thought was kind of refreshing. Basically, I like that it poked fun at both sides. It's one thing to take a pointed side in something like a documentary, but this is a comedy being released in a time that is kind of extremely divided politically. Just make me laugh. Unfortunately, that's the biggest problem with Space Force. It's not that funny. The first couple episodes in particular, I found myself thinking, this is more amusing than hilarious. I'd get a couple laughs here and there, but it really wasn't living up to my expectations. That said, as the season goes on, it does find its footing to a point, and eventually each episode would give me 2 or 3 really good laughs. But still, I'm also not sure what this show is trying to be, and I don't think it knows either. It's a comedy for sure, but what kind of comedy? At times it's a rom-com, at times it's a satire, at times it's a spoof. Then it throws in some drama, family or otherwise, and it just feels really uneven. Granted, when it's trying to be poignant, there certainly are a few minutes that land and are really genuinely sweet, but it never feels like the show really has a specific goal or genre or point to make. And again, sometimes it does succeed in being a rom-com or a spoof or a satire, but those are in little moments that don't add up to something greater overall. it's just all over the place. Now, the CGI in the series is actually pretty good for the most part. It's not movie level quality, of course not, but for a Netflix show, it's pretty reasonable. One episode has a CGI chimpanzee or chimpstronaut, which was a joke that made me laugh, and it's fairly convincing. Then again, there are also a couple of scenes that are very obviously green screened. The final episode of season 1 introduces a subplot involving the daughter character that it's so out of left field, and it feels rather pointless. Yeah, it builds to a character moment that the show did kinda need, but it feels so shoehorned in, like it was part of reshoots or something. That said, the first season does end on a really big cliffhanger, and assuming they get a season 2, I'm curious to see where they're gonna go with it. Space Force is by no means terrible, but I do think it's a bit of a mess. It's occasionally really funny, sometimes really sweet, and sometimes kind of baffling. As I said, while I did like it somewhat, I am kind of disappointed considering the amount of talent attached to such a great premise. It could have been so much better. Still, if they make a season 2, I'll check it out. Now, I don't have a proprietary rating system as of yet, so I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to give Space Force Season 1. And I think I'm going to give Space Force Season 1 a...
1, 2, 3.
Out of 10. So now I want to know, have you seen Space Force? What did you think about it? What is your favorite movie or TV show about space or going to space? Whatever your thoughts, hit the comments below. Let's discuss. If you enjoyed this review, please smash that like button and give it a share if you really enjoyed it. And hey, why not take a second, do me a favor, click subscribe and ring that bell to subscribe to my channel for more movie reviews, entertainment news, trailer reactions, all that good stuff. Hope you guys are all safe and healthy. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.